Well, if you live by the rule, as I do, that, you know, if the New York Times hates a movie, you're going to love it. Oh, well, let me tell you something. I've got a movie that the New York Times hates. It's called Expelled, so you know it's got to be good. The man behind it, the man who intelligently designed it, is Ben Stein, who is also the co-author of the book, Yes, You Can Supercharge Your Portfolio. You are like the smartest guy I know.
No, I'm not. I'm very stupid compared with you.
Yeah, right.
I am.
All right. Let me just, because I watched this movie last night, and America, let me tell you something. Go see this movie. It's in theaters now. If you have a daughter or a son like I do that's going to college and blood's about to shoot out of your eyes, go see it. The New York Times says, if I may quote,
Well, I'd rather you didn't, but it'll probably make me sick on the air, but go ahead.
This is one of the sleaziest documentaries to arrive in a very long time. Expelled, no intelligence allowed. Conspiracy theory rant masquerading as investigative inquiry. Expelled is an unprincipled propaganda piece that insults believers and non-believers alike. Let me tell you something. If you're a believer in God, you've got to go get your church together and go see this movie. You'll cheer. You're saying getting standing ovations.
This movie played in 1,000 screens the first weekend. We got reports from almost every theater owner that people were standing and cheering so long that they couldn't get the next crowd in. Like, as with all movies, the crowd attendance has fallen off somewhat, but people still cheer. People come back to see it. We had an incredible family that drove all the way from a small town in Kansas to Pueblo, Colorado, 230 miles each way to see it, then came back the next day to see it again.
Okay. Let me just play a couple of clips from it, and I just want you to explain this. This is towards the end, where you've got a real heavy hitter.
The heaviest hitter. The heaviest atheist hitter.
Discussing who created the original cell. Watch this.
If you look at the details of biochemistry, molecular biology, you might find a signature of some sort of designer.
Wait a second. Richard Dawkins thought intelligent design might be a legitimate pursuit?
And that designer could well be a higher intelligence from elsewhere in the universe.
But you're crazy to say it's God.
Heavy, heavy, heavy. Yeah. Yes, you can say it's anything you want, men from outer space, Martians, anything you want, but not God. Cannot be God. Right. It's not allowed to be God.
Right. Tell me about him.
A very smart guy. I'm not a judge of male beauty as much as I am a female beauty, but a very good-looking guy.
You good with the ladies, Ben?
I'm pretty good with the ladies. Self-confident guy, but thinks, in my humble opinion, thinks he knows a lot more than he does. Darwinism cannot explain gravity. It cannot explain thermodynamics. Most of all, it cannot explain how life began, and that's what we're trying to get into in the movie. How did life begin? And why should we close our eyes to the possibility that God did it, that there's an intelligent creator, and his name is G-O-D?
Yeah. It amazed me to see the arrogance and, honestly, the misery that these people live in.
I think they live in a little teeny box. They are surrounded by a little teeny box of protecting themselves in their theory. They cannot look outside that box for the giant spacelessness of time and the giant spacelessness of God.
Right.
And that makes me feel bad for them. They're famous within their circles, but they don't have God in their lives, and that makes me sad for them.
Yeah, they are so closed-minded,
yes.
and it really, I got the feeling from the movie that it's really not about science.
No, it's about them.
It's anti-God. They cannot allow God to be a part of anything.
Right, because if there's a God, then they might be judged. If there's a God who holds you accountable for your actions, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, I'm going to be the first to agree, I'm in a lot of trouble too. But there's a lot, but they cannot admit that there's a possibility of sin or a possibility of morality. And they can't agree on this basic thing. If man is just a speck of dust struck by lightning and then turned into a human being, then he has no moral responsibility. If we're all children of God, we have some moral responsibility because we all have some little piece of God in us. Yeah. That scares them to death.
Okay, listen, America, I'm telling you, first of all, go see the movie. It is called Exposed. You will find Expelled. It's in theaters right now. And then this Friday, we're spending a full hour with Ben. We'll be talking about everything from the food crisis to the economy to what it's like to appear in Seinfeld, MacGyver, and let's not forget Duckman. You know, I'm just saying. Ben Stein, full hour this Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and go see Expelled. More in a second.